Good evening, good evening. Today we're going to go and talk about the new changes with FHA, so stay tuned. Good evening. So we're going to talk to you today about FHA, the new changes. This could mean a big difference for people as far as their pre-approvals go. As you know, FHA will take lower scores, and there's no minimum score for FHA. It's just that the lower your score is, the harder it is to get approved. The banks create the overlays. And when I say overlays, that means that the banks decide the minimum score, not FHA. Remember, there is no minimum score. So that means that mortgage company XYZ can require a 580. Mortgage company ABC may only require a 500. But when you get into the lower scores, a lot of people don't like to do the very low scores because the system, which is called DU, desktop underwriting, which is the automated system, does not approve the loan automatically. So then it will have to be manually underwritten. That means somebody has to physically look at the entire file and go through it and give you steps, and those are harder to get done. So you will see a lot of times where most places want you to have at least a 580, because the people that tell you under 580, it is just a gruesome process. They already are taking everything but your DNA, but they actually go through your file with a very, very fine-tooth comb. So tonight I wanted to get into what the changes are with FHA involving student loans and how you can get a bigger house. Whereas you may have been approved for, say, $200,000 now, and because of your student loans, now you could be approved for $400,000 if your area loan limits for FHA will allow it. A lot of areas, it varies from area to area what your loan limit is on FHA. So a lot of areas in the Carolinas is in about that 270 range or so. But like I said, it goes by the area as to how high FHA will go. Like example, in the Carolinas, the FHA won't go as high as it will in California because the prices of homes in California are a lot more expensive. So therefore, they have to give those people in California more leeway than somebody in the Carolinas. So for the example, if your student loan is in forbearance or deferment, then they're going to take a 0.5% of your loan balance to calculate your payment. So if you got $100,000 in student loans, just so that you can easily calculate it, if you've got $100,000 in student loans and they're going to take 1%, I mean, 0.5%, they were taking 1%. So if you had $100,000 in student loans, they were calculating your payment based on $1,000 a month. Now because they're only doing 0.5%, they're only going to count your student loans at $500 a month. If you got $100,000 with the student loans and they were counted for $1,000 a month, now it's your monthly payment that they're going to do for your calculation is going to be only $500. So with that being said, that could shoot up your approval more than $50,000. So if you were working with the lender, there are lenders who can do conventional loans that don't count student loans, period. But if you were interested in the FHA product, then if you're on a forbearance or a deferment, then it will count as 0.5%. Now, if you want to take your student loans out and get on an income-based repayment plan, a lot of people are on income-based repayment plans. That is where you send in your financials to the student loan people, and they tell you what your monthly payment is. A lot of people's monthly payment is zero based on their income information. So if your student loan is reporting as zero, then guess what? Now, instead of them taking that 1% where they was counting $1,000, they're going to count zero. So that means that is going to free up that whole $1,000 that they were putting in your DTI, which could send you to the maximum on FHA if you were not already getting the max. So that is a big, big game changer. So that's why the title is From Tiny House to a Bigger House. It's going to give people so much more buying power, so much more leverage in buying. So if you were turned down or you were getting discouraged or you got a lower approval, reach out to us. We'll help you with this new guideline so that you can get your pre-approval up to where you need to be. So that way, some of these bidding wars and different things that are happening, you can actually go into another price point. And some people that don't want to get into these bidding wars, you can find a local builder, and we are local builders, and we would be glad to build you a house. So that way you don't have to get into all these bidding wars, because you can put a contract on a property that's going to be built. And somebody's asking the question now, is this for first-time home buyers? Now, when you consider a first-time home buyer, you can get a FHA loan if you are a first-time home buyer, but it's not only for first-time home buyers. This is for anybody that qualifies for a FHA loan. That means that you could have owned a house in the past and you either lost the house or you sold the house and you went to an apartment. Guess what? Then now you back in the game. So guess what? You can qualify for FHA. Another thing, in rare incidents, and you have to prove that it's a housing issue, they will give you 2 FHA loans. It's a rare case, but it can be done, and we have done it several times. A lot of people don't have a lot of success with this. So if you want to keep your old house and get a new house and your scores really aren't that good, guess what? We can help you get 2 FHA loans as long as you got a valid reason, and we can go through some of those reasons based on your situation and get you a second FHA loan. And that means you don't have to sell the other house. You can keep the other house, rent it, let some family member live in it, and go get another FHA loan. Oh, yeah, yes, you can. A lot of people think it's only for first-time buyers. FHA is not a poor people's program. So it's a good program. It's backed by the government, and it can potentially get you an awesome deal. So with this being said, for people that only have scores, and a lot of times use FHA as well when they are trying to max out their DTI, and that's your debt to income ratio. Some of the FHA loans will go up to 55% on debt to income ratio, whereas a more conservative lender like USDA or some of those, they may want you to stay below the 50% threshold. So that's sometimes the reason why people go with FHA, because they got the larger DTI. If you got credit cards, you got things that they actually are going to calculate, such as a house payment. I mean, yeah, you could have another house with if you're getting a second FHA loan. Also, if you got a large car payment and you just are upside down in the car and you just cannot get rid of the car, then this may be a program for you. Also, and a lot of people aren't going to do it in this market, but some FHA loans are assumable. So that means that if somebody wants to sell you their house and they have a FHA loan, they just want you to take it over, then if they have an assumable FHA loan, you can assume their loan. A lot of times the mortgage company wants you to pre-qualify with them for that assumption so they can know that you are credit worthy in order to take it over. But you can get an FHA loan that way. Even though this has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight, but it just is a side note, a sidebar for people that already have a FHA loan and you need to refinance. You may want to look at a streamlined refinance where they don't require an appraisal, because everybody's area is not appreciating, and that means increasing in value. So if you're upside down, or say you bought your house last year and you spent on it and you're trying to get it refinanced for whatever reason, may it be for divorce or you're just trying to get a lower interest rate, then FHA Streamline may be an option for you as well. But this is a big game changer for people who are going the FHA route. If you were discouraged, say a few months ago, due to student loans, get back in the game now. Reach out to a professional. We'll be glad to help you. And go get you an FHA loan and don't worry about your student loans. So Kanisha, thank you. Yeah, she's got a from your company right here. Yes, thank you. So also I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied. There is a 203K loan. A 203K loan is a type of FHA loan. And a 203K loan will allow you to renovate a house. So if you find a house that is in disrepair, then guess what? You can qualify for a 203K rehab loan where FHA will allow you to get the money to purchase the house and do the repairs. So you got two routes that you can go with FHA. That's the 203K loan, which is the rehab loan, where they'll buff in and give you one loan, but they'll give you the money to make the repairs. So if you find a property that's off the market, but it needs work, or the seller doesn't want to put it on the market because they feel like they can't do the work, then the FHA 203K loan could be an option for you. It's a little bit longer process because you have to get bids in and they have to send out an FHA inspector. But this is a great way to get a property that may not be on the market. And if you're able to increase your price point by your student loans being counted either at 0 or 0.5%. Or you can take your student loans out of deferment, get into an income-based repayment plan if your 0.5% is still too large for you to qualify. So there's a lot of options right now for you to buy a house. It's a great time to buy a house, even though a lot of people are getting discouraged with all these bidding wars and different things like that. Also, you have to be leery that some listing agents are not taking FHA offers because they don't want to have to make repairs to the property when they can sell to conventional people. But if you're limited on your financing options, like I said, you may want to get with a builder that you may not have to get into a bidding war with, and they can build you a house and you finance it at the end. Or like I said, you can there is a FHA construction loan that you can take out and get a construction loan as well. So that's a third option. I that totally slipped my mind. And they have a FHA construction loan that you can get with a one-time close. I got another. If you don't know all the details, what is ultimately better, FHA or VA? Well, it depends on what you're doing and why you're doing it. If you're looking for no down payment, a VA is automatically a given for no down payment, even though with FHA, you can use down payment assistance with FHA. So essentially you can get no down payment, but it's going to go back to your scores. So, and whereas on a VA, because it's 100%, then sometimes depending on the lender, they'll give you 100% at a lower score. So it just depends. And if you got funding fees, or, it depends on your disability, whatever the government is offering you. Because I've been seeing where on some VA loans, they're offering to upfit the house. So you may want to look into that option as well. So it just varies. So it's not a cut and dry answer. I think that it's a case by case as to what will fit your scenario. But overall, VA is 100% no money down, where FHA is generally at least a minimum of 3.5% down if you don't get down payment assistance. I hope that kind of answers your question. Oh, so now I see some people are enjoying this information. So I hope that you found this to be valuable. Please do like and share this video, and this may help somebody onto the road to home ownership, or somebody that was discouraged and now their denial can turn into an approval. You might change somebody's life. So please do like and share. We've got another question here. Does the FHA construction require down payment, 20% down payment? No. And we do have, I can do another video on construction loans, but we have construction loans that do not require down payments at all. And VA is one of them that do not require, and you can do a full construction loan. And it's awesome rates too. They have really good rates on it and everything, but there are some conventional programs as well as other government-backed programs. Oh, thank you, my Sarah. I'm glad everybody's tuning in. And like I said, I hope that this information is really good for somebody. But don't let people think that FHA is just for quote unquote poor people, because sometimes it's stigmatized that way when it's really not. Thank you again, Londa, and thank you for chiming in and pushing the conversation forward with asking your questions. And remember now, just because I've been getting so many inboxes, it's easier for me to answer questions because some of the questions may be redundant. So, and like the question that somebody else is asking, somebody else wants to know. So that's why I'm asking people, again, thanks. That's why I'm asking people to only ask me questions on my live, or you have to go into my hotline to set up an appointment. And I do charge a fee for that, just because there's only so many minutes in a day and you can only cover certain things. But I'm more than happy to cover questions during the live, because like I said, it'll help more than one person. Awesome. And you and here is someone, Manera Ma Sarah, she's saying that she did FHA for both of her houses, and she got one in Maryland as well as when she was living in the Carolinas. So like I said, and hopefully we'll get you another loan. The only backdraw on the FHA, they still haven't changed the PMI for the lifetime of the loan. So, still weigh your options with conventional, but I do know that this game changer, and I wanted people to understand, the difference in how FHA now is working, so that way you can get pre-approved if you were denied, or increase your approval, because a lot of people have been approved, but their approval is not getting them enough for where they are trying to buy. So this could be a game changer, especially if you're holding a FHA approval right now. So I would encourage you to go back to your lender. And if you want to call an agent, call me or call somebody in my office at Erica Homes, and we'll be glad to assist you with the process. We've got lenders that are very knowledgeable about these changes and that can help. Okay, we got another. Remember, Vienna has a funding fee unless you have a disability rating. Yes, thank you, my good real estate buddy, OJ. Will this be recorded? Yes, it's recorded. I leave up all my lives. On my live on, if you can't find something, it's sometimes easier to navigate through my Bossed Up Academy on YouTube, but it's up on my IGTV as well as on my Bossed Up Academy. Just read out without appraisal. So, Manera, it sounds like you may have done the streamline, like I said, because some areas have not appreciated as well as others. So, and then it's just an easy process. So, thank you for co-signing and letting people know that the information that I am giving them is not only valuable, but it is true and accurate information. Thank you so much for that. All right. And if you have any topics or anything that you want me to talk about, I'll be glad to do that. I'm going to go back to some of my stimulus stuff. Because some people are getting a lot of questions about this targeted EIDL grant, as well as their EIDL money that, you know, so many business owners need. And you can get a FHA loan, even if you're a business owner, if you got your tax returns and all. And this was another thing that somebody was telling somebody today, that you don't necessarily have to have two years of tax returns. Sometimes the system, that DU system that I was telling you about, will only require 1 year. So that kind of helps out business owners who file their taxes kind of low. And if you need a FHA loan, if you got, you know, a lower score and you may not qualify for conventional, or if you're carrying a lot of debt and you don't want to make a large down payment, business owners can qualify for FHA. It's a full documentation loan, but you can do it with your taxes. And sometimes it only requires 1 year tax returns. So don't think that you have to have 2 years. So that means if as a business, or any other person can too, even as a W-2 person. But what you can do is, if you filed an extension for your 2020 taxes, and you got your 2019 and your 2019 was really good, but COVID like just banged you in the ground, guess what? You can use those 2019s depending on your credit score and get them to run you through the system and see if it will take just 1 year instead of 2 years. So, or if you banged it out in 2020, because people with online businesses and different things, they had a very, very awesome year. So this may be your year, and while you got, you know, some extra money and stuff like that, then this may be your year to purchase, and you can do that with just your 2020 taxes. So don't get fooled into thinking that you have to have 2 years of tax returns, because that's not always the truth. It's a matter of how they put you in that system and how the system accepts you. So I'm not saying that this is for everybody. Each situation is going to vary person to person, but business owners, you can qualify for FHA. And if business owners that left school and they had business owners who left school with a lot of student loans, and then you decide to become an entrepreneur, guess what? This may be beneficial to you as well. So thank you all again. And I've really enjoyed talking with you all. And like I said, give me some topics and I'll be glad to get the information. If I'm not a know all be all, but If I don't have the information, I'll research it and then bring you back what I researched and verified that is true. And hopefully this information can help you or somebody that you know. Thank you. And again, remember to follow us on YouTube, as well as IG, as well as Facebook. And like and share this video and make somebody happy tonight and make